hulking brute while I quench my muscles. I know this does not look like a courtroom, but please pretend that it is. The type of theater I have just presented is known as theatricalism, a style that focuses more on the fact that you are watching a play and that you shouldn't think that you are watching real events. Instead of trying to convince the audience, theatricalism wants the playgoers to be aware of the actors, the stage, and the storytelling as a whole. It's like theater, but Niece's worst nightmare, as if you should somehow lost the whole stage and now have to accept the fact that Mr. Niece will later ask you during notes, so what happened to the, everything? Theatricalism was created by Bertolt Brecht during the early 20th century, during the whole experimentation craze, when many artists rejected the strict realism and naturalism that had dominated the stage. Playwrights wanted the theater to reveal its own artistic beauty, and instead of restricting themselves to what everyone else was doing, this meant breaking down the fourth wall and inviting audiences to see theater as a way to use their own imaginative and their own abilities instead of relying on elaborate set pieces. In many ways, theatricalism was about imagination, which can help actors in improv abilities, or even in the event of forgetting a certain prop needed for the story to progress. The apple in Children of Eden. Sorry, bad cough. The style actually inspired actors to learn more and use more biomechanic movements in their performances, as they limited themselves in how many props they would be using and would need to find ways of relaying where they were to the audience. The practice could also come in handy with actors who rely to have a world built around them or needing set pieces around them to stay in character. Theatricalism is an illusion. It's an illusion about breaking an illusion, and that being the illusion of reality. We tend to imagine that theater is to escape from the real world for the half hour or two that we are stuck in an auditorium. We believe that it is real to the characters, so that makes it real to us. But theatricalism wants to break that belief. It took a step outside of the box by the characters knowing they are actors on a stage, and that the stage is there, which was why the only barrier between the actors and the audience is the stage. This gave both the actors and the playgoers a more sentimental bond, as they both were on the same page, with an equal amount of participation. They were just people telling a story, and people who wanted to listen. But how could an actor be a character if they don't have any costumes to show who they were? Actors would be characters by putting emphasis on who exactly their characters were, describing themselves instead of physically showing it, and by using these minimal props that were given in ways you might not expect them to be used. By doing this, audiences had to realize that theater and plays can be as plain as bread, but how an actor is able to sell their characters. This can be the butter, and when you put the two together, you can make a really good piece of theatrical toast. Theatricalism may not be as obvious in a production as it seems, since it seems like it sticks out like a sore thumb how the actors want you to believe that you aren't watching a real story, but it slowly creeps its way into most of the time. One play that shows a theatricalism style, or one that seems as so, is the show Hadestown. The setting does give off a more old-timey feel to it, but looking at the stage itself doesn't really give that Greek tragedy feel it should. It looks more like it takes place in an alley or a bar, but once the actors start portraying their characters and Hermie gives us context clues on just who everyone is, we didn't have to know that Eurydice was poor or that they were on the streets, but how they were able to act and use stage pieces such as chairs to create levels. It made the building blocks for our minds to fill in these blanks, thus helping us create a unique story only we could see because we have that imaginative ability. Anyone can show you something and tell you that it is something else. But it takes talent for an actor to show you something, or even nothing at all, and make you believe that it is there. Another great example of theatricalism is sitcoms like Friends, or mockumentaries like The Office. These shows throw in hints of the style by sitcoms throwing in a laugh track, which is like a self-inserted crowd reaction, to let you know that something happened and that it is your cue to join in and laugh, no matter how bad these jokes were. The same thing can be said about The Office, as they will occasionally throw in characters' reactions as a way to break the fourth wall, despite their reactions also being scripted. The characters in The Office are aware of the cameras. They're aware that they're being filmed. Nothing is invisible to them, so it feels more natural than how a normal sitcom usually plays out. It helps us connect with these characters, and it makes it feel real. Okay. The style of theater varies, each one different from the other, but is there one as unique as theatricalism? Each one is an imitation of the world, but theatricalism is taking away the world, and that somehow makes us feel more connected to it. It connects us with everything. The actors can connect with the audience, and the audience can connect with the actors. It may have been a risky move on Brecht's side, but he was able to make it work. And I will then salute, thanking Brechts in the process. Thank you, Burla Brechts.